More than a year and a half ago, I shot footage of what I take to be the left forearm of a Sasquatch, here at the property of a woman who has had daylight sightings on several occasions. But it wasn't until just last week that a fellow researcher pointed out to me that there is a great deal more in this footage than I have ever been aware of. First, a bit of background. Here is the resident's story of 2 encounters, both occurring less than 200 feet from her backyard.
And it was just standing in that divot. And then after it stood there for 10 seconds, it just glided back and then off to its left. It was like it's on rails. It was so smooth. I got probably the front of this pen, and out comes a doe down up over that ridge, and she's standing right here in the road. I had the dogs with me, and the dogs ran in front of her. She didn't pay attention to them. She didn't even see me until I got up, probably from me to you from her. Then she darted back in the woods. I could still hear the baby crying. And when I got right about here, the big thicket there, and I thought it was a stump. And I got here and I yelled, "Hey!" When I did that, I hear, "Ah!" And I just petrified me right where I was, and the stump, as it was yelling, stood up. And I could still see the baby flopping its legs on the ground. I could see the legs moving on the ground and moving the brush. I don't know if it was holding it down or what it was doing, but the baby was squalling. And of course, that's why I came running back. But I don't know how it had the baby in its possession, but it took 2 steps down the ravine, which is a pretty steep incline. And then mid-squall, the baby shut up. And I could not move. From somewhere in this area, which was all green at the time, I hear that predator clicking. And I was petrified. I could not move.
Like in the movie Pet Predator?
Yes.
How does it sound? I forget.
I'll play it for you.
Okay.
But it's a click, 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 but like a growl at the same time. The big one stood up. All I could see was right here, the strong part of the shoulder where they've got that great big muscle. Probably to a right and about here of the arm. Its arm was like this big around. I still really don't recall how I got back to the house.
This habituator showed me many tree bends. Also, we came upon this large, impressive formation. Which reminded me a great deal of the structure I saw on the 2006 BFRO expedition in Ohio. On the night in question, she and I and 2 young women had built a dramatic bonfire. Every now and then I would step away and scan the tree line with my thermal camera. Later, reviewing the footage, I noticed the arm, and have long regretted that this is all there is to see. My friend, however, has now adjusted the contrast to bring out clear new information. Yes, the Sasquatch is observing us and our fire, and the heat given off by the creature's eyes shines out. We can even see the comparatively cooler top of the head, and the right hand, fingers splayed. Keeping these new image settings allows us to view the peeking Sasquatch in motion. From a slightly different angle, we can see the left arm again, this time making a fist. And for just an instant, we can find the head again, too. And notice that the left arm is extended farther, and that the board it appears to be resting on is extended as well. Compare its length here to the earlier shot. It seems the Sasquatch has actually adjusted this board, perhaps to achieve a better view. Luckily, the habituator took a daylight shot soon after our close encounter, so that we can see just how close the woodpile is from the ashes of the bonfire, probably about 30 feet. Also, we can now tell how very low to the ground our visitor kept in order to avoid detection and to spy on us through this opening here. But now what about this tree? If we could measure its width, this would provide revealing scale. The other day the habituator did just that. It seems the tree is close to 7 inches thick, but just to err on the conservative side, let's say it is 6 inches thick. Extrapolating, this gives us an eye width from midpoint to midpoint of 4.75 inches. My own eyes, and those of most human beings, are a bit better than 2 inches wide. Therefore, we can represent my size here in red. As to arm length, I do not think that much can be determined, because the Sasquatch is so hunkered down, arms bent behind the scenes, and appears to me to be, in effect, embracing the woodpile.